They are
trying
to control
the oppositional force.
But they will never, ever
win.
Welcome to Walking the Plane. I'm your host, Rob Duff. Please hit the like and subscribe button below, and feel free to drop me any comments or questions you may have in the subject box as well. Guys, today I'd like to discuss how the elite use demonic forces to not only help them control certain things, but also to make their own personal power grow exponentially. I'll also be covering over some history and origins of these rituals as it pertains to our own society nowadays. These are topics that may be very uncomfortable for people, okay? Especially a few. So consider this your warning. Since the beginning of time, humans have been mixing with evil entities, whether it be talking to them, giving to them, taking things from them, or worshiping them. Now, I'm not talking about millions of years ago, because let's be honest. If you think the world is billions or even millions of years old, you haven't been paying attention, because it's obvious that the earth is no more than a few thousand years old. The Bible also backs many ancient times up with these dates as well, which most certainly weren't millions of years ago. That's just ridiculous. Furthermore, carbon dating also backs up this information. The older the object is, the less carbon-14 there is to measure. Basically what that means is radiocarbon dating can only accurately measure materials that are no more than 50 to 60,000 years old. And to be quite frank, they're probably pushing that number quite a bit, wouldn't you think? Just like they do everything else, guys. I bet that most things can't be carbon dated back any more than 10,000 millennia. So now that we got that out of the way, let's move forward. Eve was the first woman that ever supposedly walked the earth, and even she encountered an evil entity. Her encounter was most certainly not intentional. However, it led to biblical consequences. Unfortunately, after Adam and Eve, men and women in general became a lot more evil, generally speaking. Many of these men were so obsessed with power and wealth, they went to extreme measures to find it. Little did they know, it was much closer than they ever expected. In the book of Enoch, it speaks of angels being trapped between the firmament and the heavens. They're what we see today and what we call now stars. But there was also many fallen angels as well that followed Lucifer to earth when he was outcasted. These angels lusted for years at earthly women from the heavens and began plotting their treasonous plan against God. These angels were called the Watchers, and when they arrived on earth, they immediately began to seduce the women and fornicate with them. The results were abominations. The offspring their evil acts created were what we know of today as giants. I'll make a special video on giants later, but for now, to save time, we'll leave it there. They also fornicated with beasts, which created ungodly creatures. In turn, those fallen angels would give secrets of the most sacred knowledge. The angels taught the humans magic and spirit cooking. They also showed them the power of new technology that would fuel new generations of men the world had never seen. This continued on for years. Years turned into decades, decades into centuries. Eventually, God had enough and destroyed the world and all the evil in it. As time went by, evil of course found its way back to man. Ancient relics and texts that were left behind from a world before were found, and new men that had the thirst would be the ones that found them. Darkness found its way yet again into man's hearts and minds. Or was it already there? These men essentially did the exact same thing that the humans did before them, dabbling in evil seances and sacrifices for another notch of power on their sick belts. These men knew their time would come and that everything that they had built would come to ruin. So they decided to create very secretive societies that only a very few select would be privy to. These societies would have all the ancient knowledge from before and would be sanctioned to carry the legacies for generations to come. These men and women still run our world today and have been practicing the same practices for millennia. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Wouldn't you say he's accomplished that? We're all so wrapped up in our own little paradigms we can't see 10 feet in front of us. Furthermore, most of us are committing evil, heinous acts on a daily basis and don't even realize it. We don't realize it, guys, because our current leaders and officials tell us it's okay. But it's not. It's not moral. We're in a lot of trouble, guys. God is good, but I'm not sure how much longer he's going to allow this world to continue down this disturbingly evil path. Everyone, I truly appreciate you guys watching this video today. If you'd be so kind as to like and subscribe below, your support is greatly appreciated. Everyone, I hope you took into account today what I've told you, as I can't begin to explain to you just how real and true all this information really is. Again, everyone, I appreciate you all watching this video. And remember, the period of being cattle is over.